in the home. A lot of times I see boys and they're unconsciously and unintentionally, they're trying to find themselves in the father, in the man. They're looking for it. Is this how I behave? Is this how I'm supposed to act? Is this how I'm supposed to treat women? But when the example is there, then this is what we call swag. This is how they get their swag. This is how, well, I know what to do because my father did it. I know how to love my wife because my father did it. I know how to protect my family because my father did it. I know how to act right and speak right to people. Why? Because my father did it. But when it's lacking, what do? They find examples of other people, other young men and rappers who've been through the same thing that they've been through, and yet they can identify, but they never give them solutions on how to be a man. They never show them the right way. And so now we have a foundation, a young generation who is not doing it.
That's right.
Sorry. As you can tell, I'm passionate about this thing. Which is why I started engaging young men. Which is why I started engaging young men. I started being an example myself. I stopped just talking to them, but I started being an example. When I began to be an example, I began to gain influence with them. And when I gained influence with them, now I was able to teach them. And I was able to teach them. Now I was able to duplicate what I was teaching them and who I was. And now I can see a better man. But I understand that it takes time. That's why it's important for fathers and the men to come in the community to really engage, not to look at these young men and young children and say, man, all this drama going on, I can't fool with that. That ain't the way we grew up. I know I'm old school, I did this. That's not the time. The time is to come in with your love, your fatherly love, and to step in and say, listen, I'll be your example. I'll be your father to you. I'll take you by the hand and show you the way, and I'll lead by example. I'll be your strength. I'll be your protector, your defender. Football is not something I do to pump people's head up, to tell them that they're going to make it to the NFL, that you have this ability. I use football as a leverage because it teaches them discipline. I'm able to show them by example because you have to understand, there's not a statistics out there, but I believe about 80 to 90% of guys that come play sports probably don't have a father. And so they look up to the coaches, the men in the community. They're consciously looking for this thing. And so when I encounter those who have a father, I understand. I'm able to be long-suffering with them because I know what they went through. I pushed a lot of men out of my life because I felt like they were trying to be father to me in a sense, until I realized that they were just trying to help me out. Such as people like Coach Day, who would come and get me and my brother, and when we come to, he stayed on us and encouraged us and told us how to work hard and to go after what you believe. He didn't water down anything. He was able to get in my face when I tried to, buck up because I feel like I'm a, grown man. And he told me what was what. That's why we need men to challenge a young man and say, listen, I have the authority. I have this strength that you're not going to buck up against. We have people like, Miss Swain, who Jeffrey Sweeney was my best friend growing up, and he had brothers who was there, Bernard, people that was around us that really kept a hand on us because they knew we had the potential to be somebody great. They didn't fill our heads up with all the drama and all the junk that we get from the media and society, but they helped us understand who we were.
Amen.
So when you come in, this is not just an Akron issue, it's all over. It's down in Greensboro, North Carolina, that if we get the men back in our home, I believe the family and everything else can line up right. As I encourage you today, I encourage you. Well, let me say this, and for single mothers, I didn't have a father, but my mom did instill some things in me. She did teach me how to respect the dogs. She did teach me how to be responsible, and she did teach me how to do right, not because I was going to be rewarded for it, because it was the right thing to do. And so I don't want you to feel like it's an excuse because I don't have a father and you just give up. No, it's some things you can still lay a foundation in his life so that until he grow up and God can send him godly mentors and godly coaches, he can be able to stand. So a solution. Begin to pray that God will send God, raise up godly men, raise up our community to the older generation, because we need the older generation to engage the younger generation. There's something that the older generation have that we need. And we always look up for it. We look for it. Just look at a young boy. They model. Whether the guy has influence on, they model it. Just look at it. So we need the older generation to engage, to come together, to get on their old issues and quit, looking back and say, well, this is how we did it. This is a new day and age. It's 2012 and kids dealing with some serious issues. And it's not going to be immediate. That's why you need to pray for long suffering. Because you might not receive a reward in 2 or 3 months, but you'll see the reward later when you see them graduating. When you see them, owning a business or working a job or taking care of his family, and then they'll come to you and say, I appreciate you because of what you did in my life. Just like I tell Coach Dick, I appreciate him because of the things that he said and did in my life. Did I tell him then? No. I told him when I got older and I saw the results of the seeds that were sown into my life. So when you begin to still speak life into your child, listen, you're still going to be somebody great. I don't care how crazy you're acting, what you're doing. You're still a young man. You're still going to be who God says you're going to be. And you have permission to pursue the things that God has put in your heart to do, so you don't have to go that route.
Amen.
So at the heart of this issue, this is a fatherless issue. And the fatherlessness issue is not just the absence of a father, it's the absence of fatherhood. Even if a father's there and he's not there, if he never engages his child, if he never gives him words or strength or a foundation, this child's still fatherless. So when we come together as a community and begin to take responsibility and feel obligated to say, listen, you're not my child, but I'll still be there and step in until you get yourself together. That's when a community don't care about all the crime, but you're going to come together. That's what builds strong families. Because it wasn't, if we had a community, if the mother and the father would act right, you had the next door neighbor.
That's right.
You had somebody across the street. But when we don't have that, and everybody want to stay inside because they scared all, and the kids are acting crazy because there's nobody who want to step in and be willing to fight.
Amen.
You might get cussed out. You might get dogged. But is it worth it? Is it worth it to impact our generation? I feel obligated to embrace our generation. I will not die, not trying to help some young man become who God intended him to be. Because this is my generation. I'm growing up and I'm saying it just like you, but I'm not afraid to fight.
That's right.
And I'm not afraid for them to cuss me out or put a gun at me because I see beyond all the toughness and the hardness. You're still a little boy who want to be a young man, and you still need to be encouraged, and you still need to be loved. So quit acting hard and quit fronting. So I just want to encourage you today to look at this. What do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered for somebody who, in a sense, maybe was a coward who ran? I could have did something, but I didn't want to. Because ain't nobody going to keep disrespecting me. When you all understand that he grew up not knowing who the father was, so of course he might disrespect you. He don't know how to submit to authority. He don't know how to respect authority. So he might buck up. Or when you see a young man talk to his mom wrong and you see it and you step in and say, man, don't talk to your mom like that. That's disrespectful. Watch the little boy crumple and say, yes, sir. Because somebody was willing to stand and fight. So what are you going to be remembered for? Are you going to be somebody that, listen, we came together and we impacted Akron for the greater good, and our crimes went down because we stood and we fought.
Amen.
So ask yourself that. Fathers, begin to engage, begin to get in the life of your children. Don't think that your words don't matter. Tell them, man, I'm proud of you. I love you. Touch them. Give them a hug. The first time I got hugged by a man, I was 23 years old. That's too long. That's too long. So thank you for having me. I hope what I said impacted your heart to really take this thing and run out. I'm not saying that you have to have this big old event and do a lot of things, but I'm saying that if you see a kid, get involved. Just say, man, hey, man, come eat with me. Come hang out with me. I just want to talk to you. I ain't always trying to preach to you or tell you stuff, but I want to get involved in your life, and I'm going to be consistent. And I'm not going to let you down because I understand that a lot of kids get let down. That's why they don't trust a lot of people. So thank you for having me. I hope I encouraged you. God bless you.